2 hours caramelizing honey rather than putting honey and water and yeast in a bucket and just getting it fermenting and moving on to whatever else, bottling, working the tasting room.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, what we need is one of the big mead makers to go, I really need to do a Bochet, so I'm going to commission these guys that make brewing equipment to make a temperature-controlled precision machine that all it does is bake honey. You know?
And you know what? It probably exists already. And honestly, it's probably just a matter of someone's not asked yet. Someone's not.
No.
Okay, wait a minute. This is the next product that I'm gonna, And here I am, possibly being, ridiculously foolish and suggesting that this is gonna be
somebody's gonna do it now.
Well, somebody's gonna do it. And somebody asked me that the other day. They're like, you're still being really public with all your recipes and what your plans are and everything. Aren't you worried about your competition, especially your local competition?
Certain people whose names we won't mention.
Yeah. Well, and I said to him, can certainly do it if he wants.
Yeah.
He could at any point. And you know what? It wouldn't matter how private I was about it. He doesn't have to get his ideas from me. He probably doesn't.
He's doing just fine, so I don't think he needs to go grabbing ideas from other people. I mean, that's not to say he won't riff off something that you do, but I think, and this goes back to one of my favorite platitudes about the industry is a rising tide floats all boats. Frank Goldbeck released all of his research on the sour meads. There are plenty of meaderies, and you did it in Wales, that will take you on as an intern and teach you what they do so that you can do it too. And that's what I think makes this industry different than all the other ones, is that we do pull together. It didn't used to be like that. Everybody was really secretive, like, don't talk to me. I'm not going to tell you anything, Well,
I mean, and it's kind of funny because I think, if you look at the craft beer industry, for some inspiration there, you'll find that there certainly was a phase where there was, I wouldn't say animosity or avarice, but there was certainly, people knew that they were carving out something new, and they needed some space. They needed some space to do it because they didn't want people just to kind of swoop in and be able to do that. And now there's plenty of money in craft brewing. The big companies are starting to buy places out. So if you've got a good idea and haven't quite brought it to fruition, AB InBev might be knocking on your door because they know they know they can. So
yeah,
it's out.
It's only a matter of time, man. It's going to happen.
And there's been a ton of collaboration, and I think that there's still a lot of collaboration out there. But I also think that as we're starting to see saturation get to a certain point, you're seeing fights for shelf space, you're seeing trademark disputes, you're seeing a lot of stuff that I think is going to start to take the industry to a certain point where if somebody actually does have a new technique or a new product that they want to bring to market, they probably are going to keep it to themselves until they can get it out into the marketplace, because it's probably going to cost them too much to be overly public about it, because there are other people who can move quickly. So in that conversation with my friend, I said, look, Moonlight could do this anytime they wanted. I suspect it isn't something that they're going to do tomorrow because they've got a product line that's pretty diverse already that they have to serve. But I said on the flip side of that, we're two different businesses. Michael and I know each other. And as much as we know him for how he is proud and rightfully so of his business, you would expect me to do the same thing. Even if he did it, I would still be excited about doing it my way, because I would believe that my way was the best way I could deliver that product to market, and it would still be different enough from what he did that it wouldn't matter to me that he had done it. The fact that he had done it first, if you will, what difference does that make?
Well, like you said, I mean, Sap House has already done the whole Bochet thing, and a couple of other meaderies before them did it. It's what it is. I mean, Michael's got his own thing. I mean, hell, he can sell Utopia all day long for $100 a bottle and $3.75.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I to me, there is always, existing mover advantage. You always talk about first mover advantage. That's not even what we're really talking about here. It's people that are positioned to do things. So I feel like, I can keep my ideas to myself. I could do that if I wanted to, but I'm not going to make friends that way. And I'm trying to launch a business, which means I need to make friends.
Yes. Well, and the support of the industry helps people go forward. 15 years ago, probably a third of the meaderies that were opening were then closing. They weren't making it. And there was a lot of different reasons for, some of them didn't make great mead. Some of them didn't have good business sense. Some of them didn't market themselves. There was a lot of different things going on. But we had no organization. We were all just kind of out there alone in the wilderness. And now we've got the AMMA, we've got people pulling together both within and without the organization that are all saying, hey, we're in this together. We're all in the same lifeboat, so let's all row in the same direction. And that's what's happening is we're getting that support, and people are going, oh, well, hey, if I support these guys, that makes mead more accessible to the rest of the world. And if they know more about it, then they're going to, buy more of it, and then we all make more money.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just an idea. What you're saying is not just an idea. It is an idea, but it's not just an idea. And
no.
I think it's hard for some people, especially if they're hugely naturally competitive. It's hard for people to really understand that. I mean, it's sometimes people have an idea and they're hell-bent on monetizing that idea to the point where every person that could help them actually do it is viewed as competition, and they never figure out how to do it right. But that's because they were never willing to give up a little bit of what they had to offer to find the right people who jump on board saying, hey, that's a really awesome idea. Here's how I can actually help you make that happen. Yeah, they're probably going to get their cut along the way. It's business. It's how it works. Yeah. But do you get your idea to where you want it to be, and do you get are you able to create the attention for that idea that you had in your mind? Because at the end of the day, if you're not able to do that, you're going to end up disappointed. If you are able to do that, but you had to make some friends along the way, you maybe had to share a little bit of that with other people who maybe had an opportunity to maybe try it and do it themselves. Two things. If that gave you resources you needed, all the better, because that helps you out with your idea. And you know what? If they do that, and they had never thought of it before, so they sort of stole an idea from you, they're imitating you. Be flattered. Be flattered, right? You know what I mean? That means your idea was really that good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's, there's so much going on out there, and so many different ideas, and so much different approaches, different markets, different people, it's so much out there. There's 330 million people in this country. That's a lot of market. That's a lot of mead drinkers. So, and there's going to be a lot of that going on now. More than there was before, because, lots of reasons. So, I refuse to bring politics into the show. I refuse. But, there's a lot more drinking going to be happening. Just saying.
And I think the other thing too, there's kind of a sort of a sick twist to this as well, is that to some degree, if you really want to find out how awesome an idea is, you should actually tell somebody who has an opportunity and the resources are ready to bring it to market, because you could actually figure out if it's actually a good idea and let them spend their money trying it.
Very true.
Because just because they've done it doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to do it again. And when it comes to craft beverages, everybody's making an IPA.
Yeah.
So there's your model right there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a gazillion. There's probably there's probably 50,000 damn IPAs all in the country, and yet they're all selling like hot. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are selling like hotcakes. And there are some bad ones out there.
Different people make Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like 15 Bouchers couldn't kick butt and take names, even if they're pulling in the same markets. Because you're not just going to hang around Londonderry. You're gonna go. Sorry, my daughter just handed me pizza. Momentarily distracted there. Thank you. My daughter loves me. She's like, white sauce, no heartburn. I love my daughter. She's awesome. But yeah, that's the thing is that you're not just going to be selling it in Londonderry. You're going to be selling it in New Hampshire. You're going to be selling it in Vermont. You're going to be selling it online. There's a lot of different possibilities there. So,
Yeah, and then, you shared your idea with somebody this time, and you make those friends, and the next time around, guess what? They're sharing their idea with you, and you know what? They're not so sure about it. So you say, hey, guess what? Why don't we do a collaboration on that and see what happens? So to me, I'm not confident that the sales pitch I'm going to be making to people is that what I'm doing is going to be revolutionary or unique or never been done.
It's going to be really good.
Yeah, honestly, I would be lying to you if I said that, because you look at my product line, you're like anything else. Superstition has one of those, and Moonlight's got 10 of those, and Sap House already did that, and Redstone did it, and it's like, okay, cool, I get it. It's not unique or different, indifferent in that way, but it's good. And for my local market, some of the stuff we are going to be doing, it hasn't really been done yet. It's not been done to the degree that enough people know about it, which means as soon as it's available, people are going to want it because it's different. Hey, this isn't on the shelf anywhere else. I need to go get me some of that.
That's right.
So, I think that's where our spin is not going to be that we're unique, but we're doing something that people enjoy. I mean, in a lot of ways, I want to make people's drinking better. I really want to play to people's vices. I know you drink. Yeah. I know you do. So I want you to drink better. I want you to drink better stuff. I think I can help with that. I want you to take this to your friends, to your family. I want you to have it on the table for special occasions, for every day. I want you, when you go to pour that glass of it, I want you to be like, you know what? I am drinking some damn fine hooch right now, and that makes me happy. So it's got to just be good. It will be different enough. I'm sure I've got some crazy ideas, some of which, I won't say I'm not sharing them with people, but I haven't actually figured them out yet. So I'm not really sharing them because I have no idea what in the world I'm thinking. But it's just going to be damn good stuff. And I want people to be excited about it for that reason. I want them to walk away going, you know what? I actually really had fun. I tried some stuff I never had before. This stuff is good. It's fun to drink. I can share it with people, and they immediately like, oh, holy crap, where'd you get this? This is really good. And, I think to a great degree, it almost sounds too simple. It's a simple message.
Yeah.
And some
I
people
make
ask me,
this, it's good, you should drink it.
Yeah.
Like,
I know you're going to drink, so you might as well buy this instead, right? So, yeah. So, I think that's where, what we're going to do when we do something different, people will be even more interested in it, going, hey, where did that idea come from? And it'll probably be some weird, kitschy reference, kind of like what I mentioned in my bio information to you about the name Ancient Fire in itself. It came from a freaking movie. I'm a nature documentary nerd. Okay? My meadery name came from a nature documentary.
Yeah, well, I remember we had this conversation on Facebook, and
Yes.
and I was thinking it was some old timey or historical type reference, and you were like, no, it's not that at all. So,
Yeah, and that's the thing is that and it takes some explanation. As a reference to the sun, people are like, oh, really? That's kind of interesting. And then you kind of talk to people a little bit about it. Think about when if you think about our ancestors, our predecessors who didn't necessarily understand our solar system nearly as much as we did now, they looked up and what did they see every day? And they think it's spinning around the planet. Well, they didn't realize the planet was spinning around it, but they stared at it, and they stared at the moon, and they stared at the stars, but they stared at the sun, and they're like, they knew it was special because they also knew that, especially in areas on our planet where there are seasons, they knew the sun had something to do with it because it was way up in the sky in the summer, and then it wasn't in the winter. Like, how does that work? But they knew, so they worshipped the ancient fire. They knew that if it came up again tomorrow higher in the sky, that meant it was going to get warmer. The weather was going to get better. The crops were going to start to grow. So they knew something about it. And it just, when I heard that phrase in that movie, it just made sense to me. I'm like, that is my fermentations. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm taking the power of the sun, all the stuff that we grow on this planet, and I'm just turning it into stuff that we like to drink. And once I explained it to a few people around me, like, that's actually pretty cool. And yeah, you are a big nature documentary nerd. You said yes.
Yeah, we totally need to hook you and Frank Goldback up because he's the same kind of. What I'm doing is so sustainable because it's the system constantly renews itself. We're not taking the grapes and then there's no more grapes. We're taking the honey and then there's more honey. It's like it's like magic. So yeah. It's an interesting way to to look at things. We are a half hour over normal time because we were having way too much fun again. So, which is not a bad thing. But we do need to wind things up because my family has come back and